So my friend just made the worst financial decision. He bought a brand new SUV. So I went ahead to prove a point and bought me a used, reliable SUV in cash. And the whole point of this video is to prove a point. You can buy a quality, used, reliable vehicle for a decent price and avoid everything, meaning a car payment. Let's get started. Reason number one is going to be depreciation, and that's when cars lose value. This right here is a 2014 Honda Pilot Touring Edition. It is top of the line. Now, I've been told an old lady originally bought this car. She paid about $40,000 for it. The guy that sold me this car, he paid about $15,000 for it, and I paid him about $7,000. You see, depreciation is just astonishing. Cars lose a ton of value. And now my friend, he has a new car, yes, but in a few years, that car value is going to go down and down and down, and he's going to take the biggest hit. I get to save a ton of money. And not just that, even if I sell this car in 5 years for $3,500, it only cost me about $50 a month to use this car, because depreciation slows down as the car gets older. Reason number two, you can actually afford to get quality vehicles at lesser prices than actually new junk. A lot of people end up buying cars that aren't really that good because banks won't lend them money on older vehicles. So they get stuck buying new vehicles that look fancy, but they just don't work that good. So this right here, Honda, every single time I put this key in, it always turns on. But because it is the top of the line trim, I also have a sunroof and it works, which is awesome. But not just that, I even have a DVD player back here. So if I want to watch a movie with my family, I can also do that. But the best thing in this vehicle that I've never had before is this. It actually has an automatic back door thing, but that's just, normal things. But this car right here can actually run for upwards to 300 to 400,000 miles, depending on how good I am of actually maintaining it and making sure it's good. So as long as you're buying a used quality vehicle, they might even go ahead and outlast a new vehicle. Because this car right here, I can proudly say it still has about 200,000 miles or even more if I actually take care of it pretty well. So because I don't have a car payment and I'm not spending $500 to $700 every single month like a lot of people are, well, I could use that money for something else. And in about a year, that's about $8,400 I'm basically saving by buying a used vehicle and not making a whole bunch of car payments. Now, what could I do instead with that money? Well, if I just invested that money into the S&P 500, that's about $40,000 in 5 years. And that same $40,000 could actually pay me every single month about $333. So you see, one thing takes money from your pocket, and at the end of the loan, you get something that's actually less valuable. But another thing, like investing and buying a used vehicle, well, that can put money into your pocket. So I think this was the best decision. Reason number four, or point number four, I bought this vehicle for $7,000, but that also means you have to have $7,000. And common sense today isn't common. So the whole point is, if you don't have $7,000, you can't buy this vehicle. But that also means that if you don't have $30,000 or $15,000, you also can't just buy a vehicle and go into debt to actually get it. You're better off just buying something where you do have the money to get it. So yeah, I got this vehicle, but if I didn't have $7,000, I would have just gotten a $5,000 vehicle. If I didn't have that, a $2,000 vehicle. If I'd have had that, well, probably a $1,000 vehicle or a bike or just walk. That's always an option. It is better to just wait, don't buy anything, save, than get into a bunch of debt, and now you're basically a slave to the thing you actually wanted. Reason number five, you can't worry about what everyone else is going to think. You have to think beyond this moment. I bought this vehicle, I have a car seat here, I obviously have a kid. So what's more important, to drive a fancy new vehicle or to make sure that I'm actually saving money saving for retirement, and actually worrying about things that really matter as far as finances. The car you drive does not matter. It really doesn't. This car still takes you from point A to B. And even if somebody like my friend has a car that's a little faster than this one, which I don't think it is, honestly, well, he still has to follow the same traffic laws that I have to. And it's better, I'd rather have, I don't know, what is it, like $33,000 in my pocket and invest that money than put that money into a vehicle that in 5 years is just going to be worth less and less. So ask yourself, are you saving? Do you have money in retirement? Do you have anything for your family? If the answer is no, don't get yourself involved in debt, especially for a dumb car. Reason number 6, repair math, okay? A lot of people, they don't want to buy a used vehicle. You know why? Because they're scared. Well, tell me, what happens if it goes bad? New things are always better. The answer is that is not always true. This vehicle has a V6 engine with, I don't know, like 6 cylinders, I think it is, obviously. And it's going to run basically forever if I take care of it. But even then, let's just do some basic math. I paid $7,000 for this vehicle. An engine replacement might cost me $5,000, transmission, everything, maybe, just maybe. Let's say like $7,000 to $8,000 more dollars. I mean, can you find a vehicle for that much money brand new? The answer is always going to be no. And if you buy a quality vehicle and you get it checked out, that is not really going to be a problem. So am I worried that something's going to break on this vehicle? Not really. It's a machine. Things are going to break. But I don't really mind spending $500 or $1,000 instead of spending $700 mandatorily on a car payment for the next 5 years. I mean, that's just not good math if you ask me. Repair cost is never going to exceed more than a new car costs for the most point. Now, number 7 and the last thing, I'm going to tell you not just what I did, but how I did it. My friend didn't tell anyone when he was buying that car. I think it's because he didn't want anyone changing his mind. And by the way, I also do have right here a backup camera, so you can check that out. So it is not really that outdated. Now, here's how I did it. It's actually not that hard to actually get one of these vehicles for a good price. And all you have to do is just go online. You go to Facebook Marketplace, and that's how you actually get it. Now, why am I driving and making a video? Because I want you to see the car drives. It has no check engine lights. It has no problems. It's not just luck. There are a bunch of vehicles out there. When I was searching for a car with my wife, we wanted an SUV that was actually bigger. And our budget was about $5,000. So obviously, I went a little over budget. I was looking for a Honda Pilot, a Toyota Highlander, a Lexus RX 300. I also even saw a Lexus GX 470, and I actually messaged all these people, and they were below $5,000, below $6,000, and one of them was like $9,000. But they were all vehicles that when someone bought them, they bought it for like, I don't know, like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. But I wasn't gonna pay that. I was gonna save a bunch of money. But not just that, guys. What do you actually do when you actually find the vehicle? Well, always negotiate. Every single person that I messaged was always willing to actually cut something off and actually just give me a big discount for the most part. And when you're searching, you could just literally use ChatGPT. So if you're looking, for example, for a Highlander, the Highlander I wanted was like over 200,000 miles, but those cars can go for 300, 400, 500,000 miles. So don't be afraid of the mileage. Just look at the record, how to maintain it. Make sure it's usually like 1 or 2 owners, and make sure the person actually has service records. If someone is treating their car like they don't care about it, it's dirty, they don't have any service records, then most likely you don't want to buy from them. Because before you know it, you might be buying a lemon. And a lemon is when you buy something that someone's just trying to get rid of, and you're stuck with it, and now you have to spend a ton of money on it. And that's not something you want. If you want to, you could take it to a mechanic. I didn't do that because I kind of knew exactly what I was looking for, and it looked really good for the most part. That's my risk. You don't have to take it, but that's the idea, and that's how we did it. So overall, I highly recommend, if you want to buy a car, just get a used vehicle that you can afford to pay for in cash. I'll see you guys next time. Tommy Bryson out. No car payment. Long-term team out. Peace. Stop sign.